What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our next part of our Spartan lecture, SGA Town Hall. It's going to be a good time. We're going to get some questions answered, some discussion going. So I would like to introduce you to your SGA president, Aaliyah Gladney.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. It's time for you to speak what you want to see. And if you with it, then repeat after me. Come on. Every time I turn around, blessings, blessings. Every time I turn around, blessings on blessings. Every time I turn around, blessings.
Okay, yes, I need everybody. If you here, that's a reason to be thankful. I need you to stand up in your seats. Can we turn the music up? We're gonna have a little praise and worship because if you ain't singing, can you turn it up a little bit? Or we gonna dance a little bit. There you go. Come on, stand up. Come on, you here, might as well. It's okay. It's a blessing you here.
There will be blessings on blessings. The favor of the Lord rests upon me.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate the people that stood up. I'm not gonna call nobody out, even though we all saw it. Okay, thank you all for being here. Wow, I love you. See, right here, this love right here. We can sit down, y'all. Sit down. Oh, I don't like sitting down here. Okay, I want to say, first of all, thank you all for each of you all coming out. I know that that even though chapel is like optional to come and be in person and live, I appreciate you all coming out and taking your time out from the bottom of my heart. I want to start off by saying good morning to each and every one of you. If you didn't know, my name is Aaliyah Gladney. I'm your SGA president. A little bit about me, to kind of just start off, let me get my heart down real quick. So I'm a junior here at MOVAP. I've been here all 3 years. My major is health sciences. Fun fact about me is I'm a cake decorator, and I can hook you up with I can write on your cakes, real fancy. I can do your cupcakes, real cute. So, and even add sprinkles if you want it. That's just a little bit on me. I joined SGA because, like my sophomore year, so last year, it was just a point of like hearing my friends talking about stuff that they wanted to see on campus, and just me too. And I was like, well, I want to do something about it. So like I just did something about it. I ran for SGA, and here I am today. And these lovely people to my left and right are here because they want the same thing. So I'm going to pass the mic, and they can introduce themselves as well.
So first, I want to start off by saying Aaliyah has not made me cake yet, and I'm a little depressed about that. Yeah. So my name is Riley Cantrell. I'm a senator. I am a junior, and I'm a senator here at MOVAP. I just kind of wanted to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, so I talked to Aaliyah and Kobe. Aaliyah couldn't remember who I was, so that was cool. But yeah.
My name is Emily Heflin, and I'm the Director of Communications for SGA this year. I am a junior majoring in public relations with a minor in journalism, and I chose to work with SGA because I really wanted to find a way to get more involved on campus and serve our student body.
Okay, is this on? Okay. I'm Michaela Williams. I'm a nursing major. I am a sophomore. I'm a senator for SGA. And a fun fact about me is I've been to 9 countries.
Okay, guys, my name's Brent Sire. I am a sophomore here. My major is secondary education biology, so a high school science teacher. And a fun fact about me is last year I was the Missouri State 4-H vice president on the Missouri State 4-H Council. So.
Hey guys, my name's Elise Lewis. Sorry guys, I forgot what I'm supposed to say. I'm a sophomore here at MOVAP. I'm a nursing major. And my fun fact is I also cheer here at MOVAP.
Hey, I'm Sammy Haynes. I am a freshman here. I am a senator. My major is health science. And a fun fact about me is I have danced consecutively for 16 years, and I hope to continue that for at least 4 more years.
Okay, give a round of applause for your SGA Executive Board. So just to announce, the next slide you're gonna see is the two people that were unfortunately unable to be here today. It's Colby and Jada. Colby is your VP of SGA, and Jada is your Chief of Staff. So just a few words from them. Let me read it from my phone real quick. So Colby says, these are his exact words. Aloha, everyone. First of all, I apologize that I wasn't able to be at the SGA First Town Hall. I can't wait to be back with you all soon. As you already know, I'm just a local boy looking to spread some aloha on the campus and bring that 808 to the 636. Yes, he did say that. I'm a psychology major in my senior year and played volleyball for the university last year. I arrived at MBU really because of God, as cliche as it sounds. Since the moment I set foot on campus, I've had so many confirmations that this is exactly where God wants me at in this point of my life. I've already had great conversations with many of our students and look forward to continuing that. Getting to serve you better as your VP. Shoot me a shaka on campus. I do not know what that means. Let's cruise and tell me how you're doing at the BAP. And I can say, just from like knowing Colby a little bit, that he means exactly that. Colby is just so about the people. Like, I tell Colby all the time, like, he can literally walk down, like, from the CAF to the perk and have at least 10 conversations with 5 people. Like, and he can't, and then he'll come back to me and be like, so, what's up? And he's so cool about it, too. Like, he's just, like, cruising. And so when I said, like, when he says, like, he wants to know how you are, like, he really means that. So the next one is from Jada, the Chief of Staff. She says, hi, I'm Jada Jones. I'm the Chief of Staff at SGA. I'm a sophomore majoring in Christian ministry and minoring in biblical counseling. I don't play any sports, but I'm on the ABC board and work for the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. The most important thing you could know about me is that I'm dedicated to making MOVAP a better place for all of us. So, Jada, one of the real reasons I picked her, she's so like dedicated and like really goal-oriented, and I think that's perfect. So about Jada, like I love all of them too, but just because they can't be here. Riley. But yeah, so they won't be able to hear. This is their faces. When you see them around campus, just make sure to talk to them as well. So to start off, well, we didn't introduce Dr. Lyon. Do you want to be introduced? You.
My name is Dr. Lyon. I am the Vice President for Student Development and Dean of Students, and it is my sophomore year here at MOVAP. It is. It's my second year, so there you go.
Okay. So to kind of start off, what the purpose of this town hall. This town hall was really like big on both Colby and I when we first started. Like with everything that was changing because of COVID, we really wanted to make sure we saw through of you speak, we listen. That was our campaign. If you weren't here last year, then like our campaign factor, and we really drove hard on, we want to hear from the students. What do you want to see? You guys go to the school. Why can't you, you should have a say. That's our #1 priority. So this town hall was to bring students together, and hopefully in the future, like we're going to have more of these. So I advise you all, quite excited, tell y'all friends, come out here. Town hall not boring. We're not going to sit up there and talk y'all head up. I really want it to be like conversational. So, but the purpose of this is for students to like be able to ask the SGA board, students, questions, anything, concerns that you might have on campus. And although we may not have the answers, all the answers, like we're still gonna try our best to find the answers. And that's why we have Dr. Lyon here. So some questions we might not know the answer to, he can answer the questions. And then if, we'll take it from there. Stuff you wanna see on campus, we'll try our best to make that, doing. So that's the purpose of the town hall. So I want to direct your attention, if you all could like go to Pigeonhole Live, and that's where your guys are going to be able to ask questions for today. So so when you ask the questions, you're going to go in there, and it's going to be a little code or whatever. You can enter a code, and the code is MOVAP, all caps. Do you see something? Okay, yeah. So when you go to Pigeonhole Live, you're going to enter the code MOVAP Live, ask any questions you want. Our mediator for today is Emily, Director of Communications. She's going to ask questions, and then like we're all going to try to answer the questions for today. So to start off, I'm going to bring up some topics so you guys can have something like, to, I guess, ask questions about while we're getting them. Is res life and student life. I've talked to a few students, and we have, like, just from our meetings, and a lot of you guys have said, like, there's nothing to do on campus, like, I'm bored all the time, like, and I just want to tell you guys, because we've talked to Tara and res life and student life, and I want you guys just, to check, keep in your mind. I know y'all probably not. But, like, be gracious and considerate. Like, I promise y'all, just talking to them and knowing, like, them for, like, the years I've been here, they do not want the restrictions as far as, like, rooms, and you can't have people outside your rooms. A lot of y'all, like, how come I can be in a car with them, but I can't have them in my room? They don't want that. Like, when I talk to them, they're like, we don't want to enforce it. This is new for them, just as it is you. So be gracious and mindful of that when you guys are like complaining and stuff like that. As soon as we get out of this, like we get through it together, I promise y'all it's gonna lift. But like, what do you want to see outside on campus, like in the quads and stuff like that? They want to know. They want to hear from you. I know that they're having a few events. I can't remember like how it's like monthly or weekly, like just having stuff on campus to bring you guys outside. I know like this past weekend, there's like a bonfire with the chapel band. I wasn't there. I saw it on people's stories. It looked fun. But just, that's another thing. What ideas and events do you guys want to see on campus? You guys can go to Pigeonhole, and is there anything so far? Okay, well, y'all take your time. You're good. Okay, the next one is the events that have been happening on campus. Are you enjoying them? Yeah, no, okay, thumbs up. How many of you all are freshmen? Majority. Okay, this the gang and the mob. That's why y'all look familiar. From Welcome Weekend, if you was here Welcome Weekend, you know what the gang and the mob is. If you don't, let me inform you. The gang and the mob is the greatest crew on campus. That's my crew. Those are my peoples. And I appreciate every one of y'all. I love y'all, seriously. Feel that, okay. But, so talk to us. What y'all want to do? Y'all play sports. I know all y'all play volleyball. You all play volleyball? How y'all adjusting? You got a question? Okay.
And also, I'm not sure if Leah said this already, but if you see a question on here that you thought, oh, that's a really good question, I didn't ask it myself, you can go ahead and vote for that question, and then we're going to ask the questions that get the most votes, just so we want to hear like what all of you guys have to say. So we're going to start off with one that has the most votes right now. It says, is it true that if an athletic team gets quarantined 3 times, their season is canceled?
So, we're working very closely with athletic teams. We're listening to what the NAIA has to say. Local St. Louis guidelines refer us back to our AMC conference as well as the NAIA conference for guidance. And so neither of those bodies have set criteria for when a season needs to end. But one of the things that Dr. Smith and I are doing in conversation with the coaches that are in season right now, and also student leaders on those coaches, is really trying to understand what is the impact that quarantine has on the student experience. We want to make sure that we're able to make sure that you came back for an in-person experience, and athletics is part of that experience, but we also want to make sure that you're able to be in class as much as possible. So one of the recent conversations that I had with some of the fall coaches was just what was their perception on how this was, if there's a team in quarantine and students missing in-person classes, how's that affecting their academics? And there's kind of 2 sides to that answer. One, just by the fact that we've moved to more of a hybrid, the high flex modality, where sometimes you're in class, but there's always the Zoom option, is that students aren't necessarily missing a lot of in-person class, because even though a quarantine would be for a 14-day period, maybe they're only missing 2 in-person classes, versus if we had been fully in person for all your classes, right, and it was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you'd miss like 6 classes. So there's some advantages to that. And then the other thing is the coaches reported back that, when they're in quarantine and they don't have practice and all that sort of stuff, students are reporting like, hey, we're actually doing better in academics because we have more time to focus on those things and to study and to get projects done. So for us, it's a very interactive process where we want to have conversations to make sure that students are here for the primary reason of being in class and moving forward with their degree. And so that's where we're actively in conversation. So there's not a hard and fast rule that says if a team's in quarantine 3 times, then it's the end of their season. But we do want to look. One of the things I told some of the student athletes early on and some of the student athlete leadership is one of the things we're looking very closely at is also your eligibility status. So we don't want to burn a year of eligibility for you if we know just based on quarantines or the number of missed games that it wouldn't really make you able to qualify for like AMC conference or the national conference championships. We want you to be able to participate in those if possible, but we also aren't going to jeopardize a year of your eligibility if we don't think that's really possible. So, and that's a little bit of a moving target about how many games that players are in, how many games we play if they go to AMC championship round to participate in those activities. So, not a hard and fast rule, but something we're definitely paying attention to.
Awesome, thank you, Dr. Lyon. I have another question I'm going to direct towards you guys, the SGA board. Is what is it that student government actually does?
That is a great question. And then, like, do you all want to? I can talk about it. But SGA, Student Government Association, really stands for student advocacy. So it's things like this. What do you guys, questions, concerns like that? We're that, what is it, like, it's like a word for liaison? Liaison? That wasn't, okay. Yeah, so liaison, I was thinking of a word, so that's why I was like liaison, like that. But like, we're like the student liaisons, if you will, for making sure it's like talking to administration, like, okay, students on campus, they're feeling this way about this topic. So what can we, like, we're that voice mouthpiece for you all. So, and that's what SGA really stands for. And the senators and the people of like the chief of staff, director of communications, and Kobe and myself, like we really, like Kobe and I, like we try to present, like get back from, so like you all will talk to like senators and just us, and then we kind of come together and like, okay, this is like, I heard a lot about this week, like a lot of people were upset about this, like quarantine, COVID, like stuff like that, and then we come together, okay, for real? So then we go ask questions, and this is literally what I do. I'll go to Dr. Lyon in his office, hey, so I'm hearing this, that, whatever, and he answers the questions. He makes sure, like, okay, this isn't that, that's, you know, and he fixes that, and then I will try my best, like, so I talked to Dr. Lyon, and this is what was said, and then we'll go out and make sure that that is aware or well known. Does that answer your question? Is that good?
Thank you, Leah. I have another question I know all of you guys know the answer to. Is campus shut down after Thanksgiving break?
So campus is not shut down after Thanksgiving break. However, all classes will be transferred to online. All your classes will be completely online. Finals will be online. However, campus will still be running as normal for those next few weeks. Just keep that in mind that like just because we are going home, like the perk's still going to be open, offices are still going to be open, the library is still going to be open. All of our resources on campus will still be open. However, we'll be transitioning to an online platform.
And we'll still be coming back in the spring.
Yeah, you know, the university, the president's cabinet really talked hard and fast about this. What do we do to help mitigate any possible transmission or exposure to COVID-19? Again, it's just really complex. I was talking earlier with SGA about, there's a different definition for quarantine versus isolation based on what a student's reporting or what an individual's reporting. And so one of those strategies that early on a lot of colleges and universities were adopting was the idea of like, do we come back after Thanksgiving break? And so we want to make sure that students have access. We know a lot of our students from what happened in the spring when we had to quickly go remotely, that some students really depend on access to campus resources to be in the Learning Center, to go down to the Student Success Center and talk to their Student Success Advisor, or borrow a book or borrow a laptop, right? Or engage in in-person tutoring, because we recognize that virtual tutoring has its challenges. So that's where we wanted to find a good balance that would allow people, if they say, you know what, I'm going to go home, or it's easier for me to make plans because I live far away, to go home and just do one trip back home for kind of like the Christmas holidays and just do my classes online and virtually. But also to remain open so that the residence halls could be open, that our student services would be available, so that faculty would be available for meetings as we head into finals. So that was part of the decision making. And then just to be clear, spring semester will be in person. So again, we're going online and remote for just those last 2 weeks of the fall semester. But on Monday, January 11, we'll be back here for the spring semester. It'll look very much like it does right now, like that's our plans, right? With those multiple modalities, with a blending of in-person and online classes, but we will be back here. And that's really important for our athletes too, because a lot of our fall athletes like football and some of the other ones, their seasons have been extended into the spring, and that's when championships are. So we'll be fully geared up and ready for everybody to be back on campus and helping them through those processes of getting ready for their seasons.
Thank you, Dr. Lyon. I have another question I'm going to address towards the SGA board. How can we get more community service events and fundraisers on campus?
Nobody wants to? I don't want to sit up there and talk the whole time. Okay, I'll answer this. So the question was, how do we get more community service?
How do we get more community service events and fundraisers on campus?
I know that we had talked about, like, as far as plans, okay, what do we want, SGA, like, what's our goals and things like that. We had talked about, like, even a food drive for Thanksgiving and things like that, of doing more community service hours, but I think with COVID, like, it kind of took a back seat, but that is for sure definitely on our board. I think, like, a board of, like, things that we want to accomplish while we're during the school year. But how do we get that? I think that's, like, how do we answer this? Like, we've thought about it, and that's just, like, reaching out to those people and asking them, is that an option? I know that we have the blood drive, we have the food drives that we usually do. I think that's just getting pushed back because of COVID, because it limits you and stuff like that. But I think we want to, like, that is something for sure that we'd like to do.
I think taking past that and going a little more is, like, a lot of our events and stuff that happen on campus, along with community service, happens through our clubs and organizations. So we're working closely, as well as I know all of our clubs and organizations are working closely with our student life coordinator, Tara, and people of that staff to continue having events and, like, working through those problems and kinks that COVID has for us. So for the people that might be listening here that are leaders of organizations or clubs, come ask us questions, come ask Tara questions, come ask Dr. Lyons questions, come ask questions. If there's an event you want to have, there's a way we can have it, some sort of form. So just remember that as we're moving forward, that just because we do have COVID happening, that doesn't mean that we still can't do events and have different community services going on campus.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome, thank you, Brent and Aaliyah. All right, another question we had coming in is, why do we not have any Halloween events on campus yet?
Do we all know this? Somebody else.
I don't know about Halloween.
I know. Okay, I know.
Why do we not have any Halloween events on campus yet?
Okay. I can talk about just the last week of October it is. It's Blue and White Week. And that's just, like, when we're really going to celebrate, not celebrate, but have more Halloween festivity activities. I cannot list them all off the top of my head, but I know when we talked to Tara in Res Life and Student Life, they talked about just things like it's a week long of full of events. And at the end, there will be a drive-by sort of, what's, like, trunk or treat? Is that the name of it? Trunk or treat. And that's the time for you guys to do that. I think at the beginning of the week, there'll be a door decorating contest. So I think that's just tailored towards the end of the week, so it's not like, you know, it's more one long whole week to celebrate all of it. So, yeah.
And this is taking place of, like, homecomings not happening,
Right.
obviously, in the fall, and it's going to happen in the spring. So as of not happening in the fall, we're trying to replace this with, like, Blue and White Week. And so Tara's doing a great job of coming up with ideas and things that are going on campus. So there's a full list of events that will be shortly published out to everyone through posters and on social media. So follow those, like, follow our platform on social media, follow Student Life, follow those events, and so you can see what's happening on that week.
The next question, we're going to have Dr. Lyon answer this one. Can teachers require us to turn on our cameras when you're Zooming in for a hybrid class? And if you don't, can it count against your attendance?
Yeah, so I know all of our faculty are trying to adjust to this as well, right? They're used to seeing students in class and be able to take attendance that way. What I would say is work with your individual faculty member. So faculty can create the kind of classroom rules, if you will, right? Like some faculty will say, I'm okay with people just engaging in open debate and asking a question. Other faculty say like, hey, you got to raise your hand so that when I'm, kind of at a good point in my lecture or my thought process, I can call on you for that question. So that is something that a faculty member can request of you. And then it'd be working with your faculty member to find out like, well, if I don't, if it's just not a good setting, or maybe I'm in an outdoor space or an indoor space, or my room's messy that day, just to really kind of talk to them about like, well, how can I work best with you as a faculty member, that if you're requiring that to be on, can I do it at a certain point to check in and say, yes, I'm here, or can I participate actively through the chat function? Again, as all of us are kind of like learning about this, for you guys as students to learn about it, it's also faculty learning like what are different ways that they can engage their class online through that Zoom kind of asynchronous interaction. So I would just encourage you to talk to your faculty to make sure you have a clear understanding of what their expectations are, and if there's something limitation for you or some reason why you're not able to turn on your camera's broken, your computer doesn't have a camera, a lot of those different things. Just be really transparent and engage them in conversation around those things.
Thank you, Dr. Lyon. This next question I'm going to open up to all the senators as well as Aaliyah. Where we go? Got it just a second ago. Last year, the president helped students by expanding the hours of the Learning Center. What are you guys doing towards helping the students of MBU?
Okay, I guess I can answer. I think something that when we campaigned as far as getting our vote, like listening to students and things like that, we asked them, what are the things that you want us to do? And that helped us to like, okay, this is what we want to like draw out. And that is campus life. What like students, they want things to happen on campus, and I feel like nobody asks them before they plan events or they hold events and they get their feedback from them. So as far as SGA, we want to make campus life better, and as far as like getting what you all want to have, like, so I know we talked about, this is just a list of things, but having more gym hours, like as far as the basketball team, they wanted to have the gym open for a long period of time, and that had to be pushed back, but that's something as well. Having a lounge for commuters. Commuters say that they don't have anywhere to go when they get here, and I know that there'd been talk about having the downstairs lobby of, I can't remember the number of it, but just having a downstairs lobby, so, because in the winter, like, there's nowhere to go, you can't sit out in the quad, like, sitting outside the perk gets overflowed after a while. And like being a commuter, sometimes you can't nap in the SRC all the time because there are people running the track and they just breathe, but that's not the point. But like I think our big thing for SGA is we want to enhance campus life and make sure that the students get that, like really streamline the voice of the students and make sure that they get what they want, because you guys are here, so might as well.
Yeah, we bring up these topics weekly, and we're talking about them weekly because things change in a matter of a few days. I think what the biggest thing is last year, we didn't have, they had more flexibility with doing things because of COVID really wasn't a problem then. So they could do these things and it was a lot easier to accomplish. However, now we're struggling because, yes, we have these ideas and we're bringing them up, but then it's like reality check. We can't do this yet. Like it's in the process of working, and a lot of the kinks are decided, but it's just the thing of we can't do this yet, we're not ready for this. So I think the biggest thing is as things get better and as our cases drop, more things will open. So like in that same way, like make sure we're following the rules, make sure we're being safe, make sure we're doing this so we can do these things on campus.
Awesome, thank you, Brian and Aaliyah. Another question, we sort of touched on this topic earlier, but I just wanted to have you guys clarify. Are the dorms open after Thanksgiving?
Do you want to answer that? Because like, yes, you can.
Yes, yeah, the residence halls are open. What the Residence Life staff is going to be doing is they'll start soon here towards the beginning of November, really trying to get a sense of what students are planning to go home and not return after Thanksgiving and who plans to return after Thanksgiving. Because that really helps us out as a university, one, to make sure that everybody's safe in the dorms. Again, if there's a situation like if there was a fire or a tornado or something where we would need to move to a safe location, that's important for them to know, so they'll go through that process. And it also helps out for food services to have an accurate count on meal plans, so they're not making 1,000 meals and only having 200 people show up. So there's a lot of logistics around that, so they'll be asking. But it's also okay for students to say at the beginning of November, you know, here's what I think, but change their mind later. We'll just keep following up with folks so that we can do our best to make sure that when you're here on campus, you're having a great experience for all those who will be returning after Thanksgiving. So yes, they are open, and you as an individual can choose whether you want to come back after Thanksgiving or if you're going to stay at home.
Awesome, thank you, Dr. Lyon. We did have a few questions come in about meals in the CAF in general, so I'm going to kind of lump this all into one, have you guys touch on it, is what can we do to get more of a variety and selection of food in the CAF?
We can do the meal. Okay, okay. I know we talked about just asking Dr. Lyon, like, okay, people don't like the meals on campus. What can we do about it? So just now, I learned this. Correct me if I'm wrong. The meal plan, right? Like what's the word? Lunch menu is a 5-week rotation, correct? So every 5 weeks, like, it changes and it starts all over again, correct? And not all foods are bad. Some of the food good. Like, y'all gotta admit, like, y'all got at least one favorite thing y'all can bank on in the CAF. They not all that bad. So I don't think that it's a matter of, like, you know, like, because when they order them, like, it's just like frozen. Like, they don't cook it all themselves, correct? Like, hold on. Answer. Dr. Lyon, let me ask you a question, because I got a question.
All the food is cooked. So
right,
that you don't
no, but some of that food, we not going to sit up here and count, but some of it ain't seasoned, and I know one person going to put a little salt and pepper up in it. That ain't all cooked. That's not them. We not going to do them like that.
So for food services and for variety, so there's a food services committee, and there's a few students who sit on that. They do typically annual evaluations and ask for feedback from students. So we work very actively and closely. And I don't want to have it sound like everything is COVID, let's just put it on COVID, because I think there's a good balance, right? Like, as we talk about everything of, there's COVID things that we need to do to maintain health and safety, things that help us out logistically, but at the same time, we want to continue to push on how do we make the student experience as close to pre-COVID as we can, and do that in a healthy and safe way. And so I will say, like, SGA coming to us, they do come on a regular basis and say, hey, this is what we're hearing from students, or can we have more events, or, you know, this is impacting students. And I really work with all the different areas to try to improve that. And so I know food services is something that matters to a lot of different individuals with their meal plan. So even within the last 2 weeks, we've really worked with food services to say, okay, we kind of got through the opening of the academic year. We saw when our peak times are, because they're a little different than pre-COVID, right? Like Thursday at 11 o'clock, if anybody ever tried to go in the dining hall at that point, like, it was bonkers after chapel. So now we have a different understanding of what the rhythm and flow is. And so they've really worked to start expanding some of the meal options. And I know it's something small, but even just within the last 2 weeks, they started having pizza again as an option, right? Like, that's just a quick thing that's grab and go. And we've continued to hear the concerns of the quantity of food that people are getting. And so working with the cafeteria to make sure that they're effectively communicating and their frontline staff understand that since we kind of have a one-time pass-through at this point, like, how many items students can take. Because you can probably take a little bit more. Make sure to look at the signs that are posted, because you can probably take a little bit more than you think, since we're trying to kind of align with some of those health and safety guidelines that are out there related to restaurant and food establishments. So really take a look at those things to understand, like, yes, you can probably take a little bit more food than maybe you're getting on a one-time pass-through, or if you would pause and read the different signs of how many you can take. So we're really trying to work with them on those things, as well as to make sure that there's fresh and healthy options, and doing that in kind of an efficient way, given some of the conditions we're under.
Awesome, thank you, Dr. Lyon. Another question we had coming in with quite a few votes is, do we have any updates on the shuttles during the winter?
Look, y'all, I'm upset about it too. That's a little touchy subject right there. Because, okay, we did talk about this, right? Other campuses are larger than NBU. We know that. But we ain't worried about them because we here at NBU and we don't want to walk from C-Lot or North Hall all the way up here just to go back there in the cold. No, it's not a move. But as far as COVID, we will not be having a shuttle just because, I think, including the bus driver, you can only have, 2 people on the bus at a time and then have to sanitize it each time. So there'll just be no purpose of the shuttle. I know it breaks our hearts, but we will get through this together. I promise you. Because, and then in the rain, it's not fun, but get an umbrella, go to Dollar Store. We just got to walk in the rain, take a friend, and be like, come on, girl, it's fine. So just, that's what we got to do. When COVID over, hopefully we can have the shuttle. I think, we're still going to have a shuttle after COVID, right? Right, yes?
Yeah, so right now the shuttle is just temporarily suspended because when we look at kind of the cost value benefit to it, like Aaliyah said, there'd be, with the driver, max of 2 people riding it, and then it would have to be offline for about 20 minutes in between cycles just to sanitize it to make sure that it's safe. And so part of the way that when we talked about what do we do with the shuttle was, on the other side, if we can only have 2 people ride in it and it passes up a group of 10 people sitting there waiting for the shuttle, right? I'm pretty sure those 10 people would be pretty upset. And so that's some of the things that we thought about is we want to make sure that, it's safe for everybody, that we're really maximizing resources. And when we can, save on a resource like that, because if you think about it, right, a shuttle, a driver, the gas related to that, we can use those funds to help with some of the other unexpected costs that we have related to COVID, for sanitizing, for getting masks for everybody. So those things that are really going to continue to help us operate as a university. So for now, based on the current guidelines, even if you look at hotels that typically have done airport shuttles, those aren't running either. And so we're just kind of looking at the national trends and making sure that we're really applying the healthiest and safe guidelines that we can.
Awesome, thank you. I have a couple of questions. I'm going to kind of group these all into one. But are we going to have more worship nights on campus? And is there going to be a perk event this year?
Okay, so worship nights, there has been 2 so far, and they are planning for another one. What's the next date? October 29th. So that's the next date for the worship night. That is in the works. Perk event on that end, it is currently canceled for the fall. However, just like all the events that have been canceled in the fall, there's works for it in the spring, and they'll reevaluate as time comes closer. So that's with the perk event right now.
During Blue and White Week, there will be a mug though. So even though we're not having the event, we're doing our best possible to, again, keep as much normal. So make sure Blue and White Week, there'll be a mug. You should go and come and get one. So that's, again, part of our tradition that we don't want to have missed. Even though we have to miss a piece of it, we don't want to miss all of it.
Awesome, thank you, Dr. Lyon. I think we're going to do one more question because we are almost out of time today, and then we'll wrap up. But what are we doing for non-athletes on the campus? This seems that the campus tends to focus majority on athletes.
So I think I'm not the only one here that's not a non-athlete, but I think that really factors into goes into the campus life. Is that what the question is, Taylor? Is it more specific? So campus, that's what the non-athletes, because I know MOBAP is a majority athletic school, and no knock on them, but I'm not that no more. I stopped that long time ago. So when you come, this is the campus events. That's where you guys come in. That's so I want to quick segue into the thing. Quad hours. SGA is having quad hours now. It will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from the times 12 to 1, 4. But that's where like SGA is going to be out in the quad, and with weather permitting, we might either move to the CAF or the SRC. It just depends. You have to go to our Instagram and keep up to date. We will post like if we're there. If you have followed us, you saw like the things we did. We handed out candy. We told you guys about the town hall and just asked how you all were doing. But for those non-athletes, that's the time, those quad hours, to be like, okay, yeah, we had this event and I didn't really care for it, or something like that. Oh, can we do this? Is that possible? Those are the times where like you're presented with somebody from the SGA board, so where you can ask about those campus events, and it really is about you all speaking out and saying like, I want to see this happen. Like, is it possible? And ask those questions just like this, and that'll be every week. But as far as non-athletes, and what we're doing about it, campus life. That's all I can say about campus life.
To tag off of that, we have events every single week. So
Correct.
regardless if you're an athlete or like a resident, an athlete, whatever it may be, you're invited to come. We encourage you to come. There's one every week, varying in times. In that same way, she was talking about like talking to us like in quad hours. Like we want you to come to quad hours. In the same way, like if you see me walking around campus or anyone else up here, whether it's like we're just sitting somewhere in the library, we're just walking to class, like, and we have time, we're gonna talk to you. Like if you have a question, talk to us. If you can't find us, send us a message on Instagram. Find us, or do it through social media. There's a way we want to talk to you, and that's we're gonna do it if we can. So.
Another quick thing.
Yeah, and I'll say this is something that's very important to me too. To be able to have lots of opportunities where students can be involved at the level that they want to invest in it. Because there are some students who say, I already work a lot, I go to school, so I just need this level of involvement, versus somebody else who says, given my situation, I'm able to have this level of involvement. And so one of the things that I'm really talking with the Division of Student Development about is the idea of creating tiered leadership positions so that we can expand opportunities for students to be involved, to invest, and even create new leadership experiences. So for the first time this last August, we did a student leader training the week before classes started. So we invited all the students back. There was training, but we had a specific track where we brought all the student leaders together to receive some training together. Dean Aaron Lumpkin, he's also working on developing new leadership programs. And the idea around that is that there's different kind of modules or puzzle pieces, right? So a student could pick up the puzzle pieces that they want to be able to have to kind of create that leadership picture that they want to do. And they can pick it up. So if they're in season in the fall for athletes, they can pick up stuff in the spring or vice versa. And then for non-athletes, you can just find those tracks and abilities to be able to get involved and go participate in different programs. So I would say like continue to watch the calendar. We're doing our best to create those events and activities, to really create theme weeks that help a student walk through their experience. So I know in September, there was like an academic major week. So there was Clubs and Org Week, there was Academic Major Week, so students could get connected between their academic discipline and the different student clubs and orgs that are related to academics, as well as just explore what does it mean for me to be this major, maybe I'm undecided. And then after that, there was the Career Week activities that just happened last week that were really great. There was a lot of good speaker opportunities and ways to get engaged in different things there too. So, and coming up here after Blue and White Week, the week of, last week of October there, in November, the Office of International Experiences is going to be doing some cultural programming to really help us understand, well, what does diversity and equity and inclusion look like? How does that really interrelate with different cultural competencies, and really just expanding our worldview outside of what may be here local in St. Louis or Missouri, but really reflecting all of God's kingdom. So I really encourage you guys to watch out for those events, and then just the normal stuff that happen. So like for instance, Student Life does First Thursdays at the Perk, where every first Thursday of the month, they do a different set of programming. So sometimes it's like a karaoke night. The most recent one they did was a trivia night. So they try to keep that variety out there, but a consistent kind of date and time so that students can kind of plan around those things.
And then, like, one last thing to, like, piggyback off that question. Clubs and organizations. That is a great way to get involved. And there's so many clubs and organizations tailored to, like, your interests and specific interests. I know, like, for some majors, there are health sciences club and organizations. So I encourage you all to, like, go look out. The list has been revised. I know FCA has something every week, like MBU Outdoors. There's so many clubs. Get involved. That's another great for non-athletes to get involved. That's, if you have more volunteer time, it's great because you can just tell that person, like, I can't come to these events, but I can make it to those. So that's another great way. And I think, like, to close out, like, does anybody have anything? Last things to say?
I just want to say, too, that if you live on campus, a lot of times your RA will also know what's going on. So if you have no clue what's going on, talk to your RA. They'll let you know what's going on this week, next week, and help keep you involved, too.
I'm going to add something really quick. We kind of touched on this earlier, but you can go to our Instagram, which is MBU_SGA20. If you want to message us on there, if you have any questions you want us to address in our meetings, we will gladly do that for you. We'd also like to say that in our bio, there is a link to register to vote for the 2020 presidential election. We'd really like to encourage you guys to get involved and use your voice and register to vote this year.
So that wraps up our first ever town hall. I thank you all for coming. I appreciate your time. And tell y'all friends, like, that town hall was alright, so y'all can come. They want to see y'all faces. I like seeing y'all faces. I don't care what COVID say, okay? Like, come out, just get in touch, and I hope that if y'all follow Instagram, we'll let you know when our next one is. Thank you.
All righty, y'all. Give a round of applause for your SGA. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today for the first, the SGA Town Hall. If you're watching online, enter the code PXX8 to receive credit and I attend. You guys have a wonderful day and go in grace.